Hello everyone and welcome to my stream and YouTube channel. Today I'm going over the Heroes of the Storm PTR patch notes, September 2nd, 2025. So these just hit today. They are on the PTR, so they're not live on the regular game, but just on the PTR, the public test realm. So the patch notes are fairly extensive in my opinion. Starting in general, it says basic, cleave, and splash attacks will now function more consistently across all heroes through various situations. Changes that may impact the balance of the hero will be listed in the balance section. Updated home screen and startup music. So right off the bat, those are nice changes. It's good to see that they're still updating the startup music. We've got map updates. This one seems really big to me. Forts, keeps, and the core will now grant allied heroes that take damage in their radius 50 armor for 4 seconds. This effect has a 4-second cooldown and can only be granted to one hero per structure. While this armor is in effect, enemy heroes that attack the target will be slowed by 20%. So fairly huge in my opinion. This is going to offer great protection against Illidan. When he dives you and you're right by your towers, you're by your structures, the core, like you're going to be a lot more protected. So I love that. Love to see it. Forts, keeps, and core will no longer prioritize an enemy hero when an allied hero is attacked. So that's a big change. Mercenary camps now spawn 30 seconds after the match begins, down from 60 seconds. Small XP globes will now vanish if no allied hero is within 15 radius of the globe. So another big one, both of those. Structure health increased by 12.5%. When a hero attacks an enemy structure with a basic attack, minions near the building will become inspired and gain 35% attack speed and 35% move speed for 3 seconds. This does not affect illusions or summons. So pretty interesting. The minions are going to have a little bit more of a punch when you're attacking them and they're near a building. Minions will now spawn exactly at 0 minutes and 30 or 0 seconds and 30 seconds, I think. I'm not sure what is, so sorry for that. Blackheart's Bay, unless they're bringing that back to the game, except for Quick Match, I don't really care about the maps they're not using. Hanamura, same thing. Infernal Shrines. Punishers will no longer leap over gates. Ooh. Skeleton minions damage reduced by 25%. Skeleton minions health decreased 400 to 300. Same movement speed increased from 3 to 3.5. And minions now have 20 magic armor. Sky Temple. Oh, so those are the little skeletons that you're attacking, I'm thinking. Sky Temple, Guardian, Mighty Swing knockback duration, reduced from 0.5 seconds to 0.375 seconds, so a little bit of a change. Guardian, Mighty Swing knockback is now interrupted by other knockback effects. And speed increased to match previous knockback distance, and will now interrupt any ongoing knockback effects. Warhead Junction, not really a main map as well. Onto the main balance update for the heroes. Dahaka, a little bit of a change here. Brushstalker. Cooldown increased from 75 seconds to 240 seconds. So that's starting right from when you start the game. Cooldown is reduced by 50 seconds when a regen globe is picked up. I think that's what it's talking about. Talents. Apex Predator cooldown reduction increased from 50 to 190 seconds. Going on to Illidan. Level 16, Fiery Brand. Attacking a different hero from the last hero attacked now resets progress on the previously attacked hero. Blinds and evasion now prevent any progress from being granted. If the target gains stasis or invulnerable, progress will be lost. Stacks now last 300 seconds. That's a pretty big change for his level 16 talent. Kael'thas. Talents. Level 20 Rebirth now has 3 charges. Okay. The Butcher. Level 13 Brutal Strike now loses stacks when attacking when blinded or against evading enemies. Okay. Lost Vikings. Level 10. Longboat Raid. Decreased move speed no longer decreases the longboat raid's starting speed and now reduces longboat raid move speed by 25%. All right. Thrall. Level 7 talent. Elemental Assault. New. Oh, that's interesting. After using a basic or heroic ability, Thrall's next basic attack within 4 seconds deals 45% more damage. I could see that being useful. And follow through. Talent removed, so it's just totally replaced. All right. Uther. Base. Holy Light, his Q range increased from 7.75 to 8, so little adjustment, but that's good. He feels a little bit weak. Range is no longer increased to 8.75 after selecting Holy Shock, so they're kind of making up for that with the first change. And talents, level 4. Holy Shock no longer grants reduced cooldown or mana cost, and instead costs less mana and has a lower cooldown. Now features its own active button. Okay. Gotta look for that. Valera. Level 7. Slice and Dice. Rework. Whoa, a rework. Guys, awesome. It's good to see they're putting some love back into the game. Grants 400% attack speed, which is lost after attacking 3 times or after 3 seconds. Cooldown for the next attack after the third will not be reduced. So a little rework there. Varian, level 10. Warbringer, mana cost reduction reduced from 22.5 to 20, slight change. Mana cost reduction reduced from 22.5 to 20, another small change. And level 20, Demoralizing Shout. Cooldown reduction increased from 2.5 to 5%. And some bug fixes. On Sky Temple, fixed an issue that caused roots to prevent Guardian Mighty Swing knockback. And then some heroes bug fixes. Alarak, level 16, Mocking Strikes, fixed an issue that caused basic attacks to display incorrectly when attacking a silenced hero after selecting Mocking Strikes. Okay. Artanis, wow, 3 fixes. Shield Surge, buff bar tooltip updated. And level 7, Final Cut, buff bar updated to show remaining duration, now consumed if attacked while blinded. And level 16, Titan Killer, bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other associated effects will still occur if this heals the target. On to Arthas Base, Frostmourne Hungers D. Fixed an issue that caused impact visuals and sound effects to be created on Arthas. All right. And Asmodan, level 1, Greed. Fixed an issue that caused globes of annihilation empowered by Tide of Sin to deal more damage than intended to non-heroes. Level 4, Battleborn, fixed an issue that caused impact visuals and sound effects to be created on Asmodan. Level 16, Total Annihilation, now displays as Total Annihilation in the death recap. Nice. Pride, level 20, now displays as a quest. Brightwing, base. Phase shift Z, cast indicator is no longer hidden if the target is polymorphed. Okay. And level 13, pixie boost. Movement speed now gradually decays over is duration instead of in chunks. Hey, babe.
Hey.
Cassia, level 1, charged strikes. Fixed an issue that caused charged strikes to trigger multiple times in a row when gaining attack speed. Now applies to the next basic attack that is fired instead of the next basic attack that connects. Now displayed in the buff bar while in progress. Now increases in progress when Cassia fires her basic attack instead of after the missile impact. Progress is now displayed in the buff bar. Wow, good stuff. And level 16, martial law. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All associated effects will still occur if this kills the target. Chen, level 10. Storm, earth, fire. Earth's attack slow is now prevented by, I'm guessing prevented by blinds and evasion. Earth's splash attacks are now prevented if the primary target is evading. Storm and Fire's attacks will now display as crits if granted an applicable physical damage buff instead of a spell damage buff. Cho'Gall, base, shove, his Z, fixed an issue that caused Shove to not push Cho if he is rooted. Level 1 caused Kalaust hide. Fixed an issue that caused Shove and other knockback effects to temporarily disable this talent's benefits. Level 20, Fuel for the Flame, will no longer hit inactive mercenaries if targets near these mercenaries are hit, and will no longer hit inactive mercenaries unless the primary target is also an inactive mercenary. Chromie, her Sand Blast. Sand Echo will now be revealed to the target when hit by Sand Echo's basic attack, and will now be revealed when their basic attacks or Sand Blast deals damage while they're not visible. And let her level 20 for Chromie, Unraveling. Sand Echo will now be revealed when their basic attacks or Sand Blast deals damage while they're not visible. Deathwing with some changes too. His Dragonflight Z fixed an issue that caused Dragonflight's cast animation to be interrupted when Deathwing hits another Deathwing with his basic attack. So that's more of an ARAM thing. Level 7, Death Drop. Armor reduction is now refreshed in duration when reapplied. Level 7, Fire and Fury. Fixed an issue that caused basic attack impact visuals to be displayed on Deathwing if attacking a slowed hero. Diva, base, her self-destruct. Charge gained from basic attacks now occurs after all targets have been hit. Well, it sounds like that was a little broken. Fixed an issue that caused self-destruct knockback to not apply correctly. And level 4 nuclear option, self-destruct charge gained from hitting targets in the basic attack bonus area now occurs after all targets have been hit. ETC's Guitar Hero, level 1. Healing visuals will no longer occur if ETC is blinded, the target is evading, or if ETC's health is at its max. Makes sense. Falsed, level 13, Sustained Winds. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Alright. Phoenix, level 1, Arsenal Energy. Now applies to the next basic attack fired, instead of the next basic attack that connects. Mobile Offense now applies, same thing. Level 4, Inhibiting Energy. Cooldown is now applied when Phase Bomb is fired. Now applies to the next basic attack fired instead of the next basic attack that connects. Gazlowe, Rocket Turret Q. Fixed an issue that caused Defense Matrix applied to Gazlowe to not reduce turret damage. Alright, so Diva problems with the Q. Fixed an issue that caused rocket turrets created by an Ultimate Evolution clone of Gazlowe to not gain the increased damage. Wow. Like, so random, but it feels like they're really digging into things here with these fixes. A level 13 positive reinforcement fixed an issue that caused the bonuses to be applied when a rocket turret attacked a target instead of when it hits a target. Lots of fixes for Gazlowe. Arc Reactor fixed an issue that caused Defense Matrix applied to Gazlowe to not modify their damage, and an issue that caused the miniature rocket turret not to fire at the correct location. Fire Enema Lasers fixed an issue that caused the warning indicator to be visible in the fog of war, and an issue that caused Defense Matrix to not modify their damage. Overlock, bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Moving on to Greymane. Level 10, Go for the Throat. Fixed an issue that caused Go for the Throat to play its cast animation on the target when Greymane targets another Greymane. And level 16, Alpha Killer. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. Alright. Level 20, Hunter's Blunderbuss. Now occurs while blinded. Now searches after all effects on the primary target have completed, with the exception of Wizened Duelist. Tooth and Claw now searches after all effects on the primary target have completed, with the exception of Wizened Duelist. And Illidan, Base, his Q, Dive. Excuse me. Fixed an issue that caused Dive to play sound and visual effects twice if Illidan is targeting another Illidan. That sounds like it would get old. Level 16, Fiery Brand. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Imperious. Yeah, he kind of feels like he's being worked on a lot lately. Valorous Brand Q. Fixed an issue that caused Valorous Brand's benefits for being consumed to be granted when the target gains invulnerable stasis or is killed. Fixed an issue that caused Valorous Brands to heal Imperious when a branded target enters stasis, gains invulnerable, or is killed. That would be bad. He doesn't need healing from that. And Valorous Brands are no longer consumed if Imperious is blinded or the target is evading. Level 1. Wow. Burn the Impure. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Now displays as Burn the Impure in the death recap. Since blinds no longer consume Valorous Brands, this is now prevented by those effects. Level 7, Flash of Anger. Additional target search now occurs after all effects on the primary target. Since blinds no longer consume Valorous Brands, this is now prevented by those effects. Holy Fervor, no longer prevented by blinds or evasion. Level 13, Divine Rage. Fixed an issue that caused Valorous Brands to grant cooldown reduction when a branded target enters stasis, gains invulnerable, or is killed. Since blinds no longer consume Valorous Brands, this is now prevented by those effects. And level 20, last one for this hero, Unrelenting Descent fixed an issue that would cause Valorous brands to grant cooldown reduction when a branded target enters stasis, gains invulnerable, or is killed. Since blinds no longer consume Valorous brands, this is now prevented by those effects. Alright, moving on to Jaina. Her level 10 Water Elemental fixed an issue that caused Water Elemental's basic attack Splash to hit evading targets. Water Elemental's basic attack Splash no longer reveals the target it hits, and Water Elemental's basic attack Splash now reveals the area. Okay. Johanna. Her Condemn W fixed an issue that caused Condemn to pull unstoppable targets. Ooh, nice. Good catch. Junkrat. Basic attack splash damage now occurs while blinded, but is still prevented by evading targets. Kael'thas, level 10. Phoenix. Attack damage is now affected by defense matrix when Kael'thas is under its effects. Attack splash is no longer reveals targets hit, and splash now reveals the area it hits. KTZ. Chains of KTZ now reveal both targets on chain link connection. And the Damned Return fixed an issue that caused the shade to not be revealed when it deals damage. Kerrigan base Ravage, her Q, fixed an issue that caused Ravage to play its cast animation on the target when Kerrigan targets another Kerrigan at close range. Karazim, Monk, his base Radiant Dash Q, fixed an issue that caused Radiant Dash to appear incorrectly when cast on another Karazim. So they're fixing a lot of ARAM abilities. Level 1 Iron Fists fixed an issue that caused the triggering attack not to play the correct impact sound. Li Ming. Level 4 Charged Splash. Talrasha's Elements bonus is now active instead of multiplicative? Multiplicative? It multiplies? They're more advanced than me with the multiplications. Multiply active? I think it's a misspell. It's throwing me for a loop. Sorry, guys. Now deals bonus damage before the basic attack deals damage. Level 7 Seeker now shows in the death recap as its own entry. Now displays as Seeker in the death recap, and now after the third magic missile deals damage. And her level 20 Telrash's Elements bonus is now additive instead of multiple active. Lucio base. Sorry if I screwed that one up. Lucio's base Crossfade, his W. Crossfades from different Lucios can now stack together. Interesting for ARAM. Yeah, why not? You've got two healers. Why aren't they both healing at the same stacking amount? They should get tons of heals if they've picked two Lucios. Fixed an issue that caused the display of affected allies to not display correctly if more than 7 heroes are in Crossfade's radius. So, Samaru, Nova, that kind of thing. The display of affected allies, or I guess it could be enemy heroes as well. The display of affected allies. Oh, it's just allies though, so it's, yeah. It's your allies. The display of affected allies of Crossfade now includes targets in the Boombox Crossfade radius. His Q fixed an issue that caused Soundwave to push unstoppable targets. And level 1 Party Mix fixed an issue that caused toggling between Healing Boost and Speed Boost to cause the duration counter to be inaccurate. Level 13 Altogether fixed an issue that caused allies in the Boombox's Crossfade radius to not grant movement speed. Fixed an issue that caused the movement speed bonus to not behave consistently if multiple Lucios are in the game. And level 20, House Party. Fixed an issue that caused allies in the boombox's crossfade radius to not grant bonus healing. And an issue that caused the healing bonus to not behave consistently if multiple Lucios are in the game. Summer Anthem at level 20 now grants its effects to allies in boombox's crossfade radius. Just makes sense. Lunara, Wild Vigor, fixed an issue that caused the 4th basic attack to not display impact effects. Now applies to the next 4 basic attacks fired instead of the next 4 basic attacks that connect. Now applies to the next attack fired instead of the next attack that hits. Nazebo, base, his corpse spiders. Fixed an issue that caused defense matrix to not reduce the damage of corpse spiders. Fixed an issue that caused ultimate evolution clones of Nazebo to not grant spell power because of corpse spiders. Zombie Wall. Fixed an issue that caused defense matrix, a lot of defense matrix and ultimate evolution fixes to not reduce the damage of Zombie Wall and evolution clones of Nazebo to not grant spell power bonuses to Zombie Walls. So those issues fixed. Level 7 Dead Rush now increases the damage of already existing Zombie Wall zombies when the talent is selected. Nice. Gargantuan fixed an issue that caused defense matrix to not reduce the damage of the Gargantuan. Orphea, level 4. Backbiter. Fixed an issue that caused Backbiter to not move Orphea if she is rooted. And Chaotic Assault. Fixed an issue that caused the damage bonus to be granted when Orphea has less than 3 overwhelming chaos if she dies with 3 overwhelming chaos. And level 10, Crushing Jaws, fixed an issue that caused Crushing Jaws pull to not apply correctly. All right. Rainer, level 7, Unstoppable Compound, Mana Restored is now bundled together when multiple heroes are hit. Nice. And Mana Restoration now restores all mana at once instead of 10 mana for each individual hero hit. Excuse me. Rhaegar, his base, Ghost Wolf Z, so mounting, fixed an issue that caused Ghost Wolf lunge attacks targeted at Rhaegar to cause the target Rhaegar to play an attack animation. So that again sounds like an ARAM issue. Level 16, Hunger of the Wolf, fixed an issue that caused blinds and evasion to not prevent this from activating. Rexar, level 13, Dire Beast, now causes Misha Charge to display as a critical when at 5 or more stacks, and bonus damage is now applied when to the next Misha Charge. Samaru, base, his Advancing Strikes trait DQ. Blind and evasion now prevent activation. And Sergeant Hammer. Level 1 Ambush now displays the remaining duration until the cloak becomes active around the trait button. Sounds like a nice upgrade. Level 7 Pulse Detonation Core. First instance of damage is now displayed as Spider Mines in the Death Recap. Mana Restored is now bundled together when multiple heroes are hit. Mana Restored is now combined for siege mode attacks. And Sergeant Hammer's level 20, Shrapnel Mines, duration of armor, of all armor reduction stacks are now refreshed when reapplied. Sonya, level 16, Giant Slammer. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Now displays as Giant Slammer in the Death Recap. A lot of Death Recap fixes for multiple heroes. Stitches, level 4. Playtime. Mana Restored is now bundled together when multiple heroes are hit. Sounds good. Tooltip updated to include mana restored when hitting heroes with Slam's inner area. Very nice. Tassadar. We're getting to some of the heroes that I favor if you've watched me play. Stitches and Tassadar. Love them to death. Tassadar base. Resonance Beam. Fixed an issue that caused Resonance Beam to gain charge prior to dealing damage past the first instance of damage. Okay. Level 7 Arc Discharge now happens prior to all other effects when a basic attack would grant progress. And level 10 Archon. Splash attacks now happen after all other effects on the primary target have completed. The Butcher, his W, Butcher's Brand, fixed an issue that caused Butcher's basic attack impact visuals to not be correctly altered against branded targets. Level 13 Brutal Strike, now consumed while blinded or against evading enemies, now displays in the buff bar. And Savage Charge now displays as Savage Charge in the death recap. Lost Vikings, Balog's basic attack damage will now be properly affected by other damage modifiers when empowered by explosive attacks. And they fixed an issue that caused Olaf's charging attack to not gain the benefits of Nordic Attack Squad or Impatience is a Virtue. Olaf fixed an issue that caused charge to not grant the bonuses from Nordic Attack Squad, and an issue that caused charge to go on cooldown when targeting enemies near Olaf's position. Fixed an issue that caused charge to not grant the bonuses from Impatience is a Virtue. Eric, increase move speed, no longer increases Eric's starting speed, and now grants Eric 15% move speed, stacking with other effects. That almost sounds like it should go in the main area instead of the bug fixes. Balog fixed an issue that caused splash damage to not grant bonuses from Impatience is a Virtue. And level 1 explosive attacks. Bonus damage is now a multiplicative bonus. Level 13 Nordic Attack Squad. Bonus damage is now dealt before the primary basic attack damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Thrall, level 16 Tempest Fury. The initial third Wind Fury attack now features impact visuals. Tracer, level 7 Focus Fire, no longer progresses when blinded or against evading targets. Now displays in the buff bar how many hits have occurred on the current attack target, as well as the window before tracking resets. Now progresses prior to dealing damage instead of after dealing damage. Moving on to Tyrael, his level 13 Law and Order, now displays in the buff bar. Tyronde, level 4 Mark of Mending, now displays as Mark of Mending in the death recap. And Uther, level 4 Guardian of Ancient Kings. Duration is now increased by talents that grant additional devotion armor duration. And his level 16 Benediction fixed an issue that could cause abilities cast while Benediction is active to grant Uther mana. Vala, base, her E, Vault. Damage bonus now applies to the next basic attack fired. And level 10, Rain of Vengeance fixed an issue that caused cache visuals to not display correctly. Varian, level 4, Twin Blades of Fury fixed an issue that caused Twin Blades of Fury to display the wrong cooldown reduction value. And level 20, fixed an issue that caused Glory to the Alliance to display incorrect cooldown reduction value after selection. Moving on to White Mane, level 7, Saintly Great Staff. You can tell how much I play White Mane. Marker is no longer removed if White Mane is blinded or target is evading. Zagara. Summons are now affected by Defense Matrix and Ultimate Evolution damage modifications. Zarya. Targets that enter the splash area between instances of Zarya's basic attacks hitting the primary target will no longer be hit instantly. Level 7, Deep Burn. Energy gained is now bundled together when multiple marked heroes are hit, and energy is now gained after the primary target and all splash attack targets have been hit, causing all target to take equal damage when Deep Burn grants Zarya energy. And last but not least, Zul'jin, level 20, a surprise for ya. Now gains the benefits of Berserker being active if the fired attack has had Berserker active. And that is the end, my friends. Those are all of the updates, and remember, these are the patch notes for Heroes of the Storm on the PTR, the public test realm, for September 2nd, 2025. So, of course, some of those are subject to change, but I was happy to read them out for you.